Hey guys, today I'm going to be making mini meatloafs for dinner with veggies and potatoes. I want to call them oven baked or roasted potatoes, but I have no idea what to really call them. I guess you'll see when we're making it, so come along. Also, bear with me, my old tripod broke, so I'm having to use my backup one. And we're gonna start with turning the light on right there. And then we're gonna start the oven to 400 degrees. And then we're going to start gathering the ingredients. And I'll show you what you're gonna need. So I'm gonna start by lining one of the cookie sheets with foil and the other one's gonna be with parchment paper, and you'll see why in just a moment. So the one with the foil is going to be the one that you're going to put the mini meatloafs on, but you're going to put, I use a silicone one, that's why I'm using a cookie sheet for it, because I can't just like put it into the oven. So I'm going to put that on top of the one with the foil, and that actually makes it easier for cleaning up later on. I don't have to scrub at something. And then the other one is going to be the one that I put the potatoes on. So you're going to cut the potatoes in half. Doesn't matter which way, really. And then you're going to take a spoon and you're going to take a chunk out of the center and put it onto the cookie sheet. And then some of my potatoes are really, really small, so they're going to cook really fast. And that's okay. That just means the potatoes will be cooled down before the meatloaf is. So now you're going to take butter and you're going to put a small chunk on each one of the potatoes. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. Now we're going to season with salt and pepper. Just however much you're comfortable with. This is a larger grain of salt, so it doesn't come out as easily. And then pepper. Now we're going to go ahead and pop those into the oven while we get the mix for the meatloaf put together and put in here. So now you're going to need a cup of shredded cheese. I shred my own, so I'm going to shred extra sharp cheddar and sharp white cheddar. So I also do it directly into the bowl that I'm going to be mixing the mini meatloafs into. And it can be a little over a cup. So before I start touching any raw ingredients, I like to do the topping for the mini meatloafs. And you're going to need about 2/3 cup of ketchup. And then about a tablespoon of spicy brown mustard. And then probably somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And then give it a mix. And it should be about like that. Kind of thick, but enough to where you could kind of dollop it on top of the meatloaf before it goes in the oven. And we're gonna set that aside while we get the rest of the ingredients put into the red bowl, and then mix it up and put it in there, and that will go on top. So a pound of ground beef into the bowl. Then wash your hands. And then you're gonna do a 1/2 cup of quick oats. Then about 3/4 cup of milk. 1 large egg. Wash your hands. And then a teaspoon of salt. And then I like to put on a glove for this part, but you're gonna mix it until everything is combined pretty good. Now you're going to do about 1/3 cup into each spot. until the mixture is gone. You could do probably about a quarter cup actually in those, depending on the size of your pan. And then wash your hands. So now you're gonna put a fairly big dollop, or whatever you want to call it, heap of the topping onto each one so that it's covered. And if you run out, it's okay. Could always make another little bit more, or take some from one of the other ones. Alright, now you're gonna put that in the oven for 30 minutes. Now I'm gonna start the water for my veggies. I'm gonna do broccoli and carrots. Always salt your water. This is what your potatoes should look like when they're done. And they will probably be done way before your meatloaf is done, because I still have 18 minutes left on mine. And just a reminder, rinse your veggies and chop them before the water gets boiling. And don't forget to set your timer for your vegetables. I'm gonna do mine for 5 because they are. So the veggies are done, and I put about a tablespoon of butter into it and mixed it around. So this is what the meatloaf should look like when it comes out of the oven. And as always, when it comes to meat products, your temperature for the center of your meat should be at 160 or higher. If not, it's not cooked all the way and it needs to go in for longer. But yeah, let me know if you end up trying this recipe and if you enjoyed it in the comments. All right, see you guys next time.